Hey everybody, welcome to my first video here on my second channel. Ignore the bird because obviously he's going to be squawking in this whole video. My first video here on my channel, by the way, I am Rochelle973. That's my first channel, link down below, along with everything else. This is my second channel just for like little random stuff about wrestling. My first video is about how I got into wrestling and how it's changed my life, sort of, kind of, whatever. I would say that. Okay, this is how I got into wrestling, and whatever. I was 8 years old. My brother had got the first SmackDown vs. Raw game for the PS2, PlayStation 2, and he wanted me to play the game with him, so I did. Just because it had women wrestlers in there, and I was like, well, I didn't know exactly if it was wrestling or not. He told me it was. So I played the game with him a little bit, and then he told me that Raw and SmackDown was a show. So I said, when it came on and whatever, because the only thing I was watching when I was 8 years old was Full House, SpongeBob, all those little kiddie shows and whatever, and yeah. And I was watching some T-Nick shows and whatever. So I watched it, SmackDown first, because it was mid-2005 when I was 8. You had Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero feuding against each other. It's like the end of the feud. Batista was World Heavyweight Champion. Randy Orton was faced against Undertaker. You had the Mexicals, the debut of Mr. Kennedy. You know, SmackDown was just, I just loved SmackDown, and I didn't start watching Raw until about a month or two while I was watching SmackDown. I think I got into Raw about maybe November of that year after Eddie Guerrero died. That really just shocked me. I was like, instead of watching wrestling, and I told my dad, you know, because he used to watch it a little bit. And I remember coming home one day, and my dad was like, you know, one of your wrestlers died. And they showed me that on the TV, and I'm like, what? And then it was Eddie Guerrero dying, and when I showed that he passed away, I think he died. Anyways, I was really upset, so I watched a tribute show on Raw and on SmackDown. That's when I first started really watching Raw, after the tribute show. And then, anyways, the one wrestler that really made me stick with watching wrestling while I was 8 was Shawn Michaels, which he was on Raw at that time, and his feud with Mr. McMahon, that's what made me stick to watching it. I remember Edge being the Money in the Bank winner and whatever, and him with Lita. I remember Trish Stratus being the women's champion at the time. That's what I remember the most out of 2005, and some other things, but I don't want to go into too detail. 2006 was the best year in wrestling in my opinion, while I was watching it. I mean, I have other opinions on my favorite years in wrestling for WWE. But honestly, for experience, 2006 is the best year, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, that I've witnessed. Because you have the reuniting of DX. That's another thing that really let me stick with watching wrestling, because DX is like my life, because I'll be going to school writing DX on my paper, drawing DX logos everywhere. Anyways, Edge became WWE champion. I remember when that happened. ECW came back, and it was great, you know, until it died out in 2007. Like, it was just not as great. I mean, yeah. RVD became WWE champion for the first time, and along with being ECW champion. Rated RKO, you know. Rey Mysterio became World Heavyweight Champion. I don't know. The list goes on and on and on. And I can just list everything that I loved about 2006. And I think when I really stopped watching it was in 2008, when I was in 5th grade, because the 5th grade was like one of my favorite grades in elementary school. But anyways, I stopped watching it because I just didn't pay attention to it. I got back into it about late 2008, a little bit. I slowly got back into it. I think what made me start really watching WWE again was when Christian returned in ECW. That was in 2009. Then I like stick with it again. So I was in 6th grade and then going into 7th grade. Anyways, when I was in 7th grade, when I was in 7th grade, I had made up my mind what I wanted to do when I get the hell out of this town I'm living in. That was to be a professional wrestler and a writer. My dad was like, oh, just forget about the wrestling, just be a journalist since you write all the time. I'm like, okay, you know, but I still want to be a wrestler. And when I told everybody that I like wrestling, I mean, when I was in elementary school, when I liked wrestling, I started getting friends that liked it, you know. It's just mainly guys and whatever, but, you know. I was in 7th grade now when I said I want to be a wrestler, and I started decorating my binder full of the wrestlers that I love. And then they just started making fun of me for it because, you know, it's like, they say it's for little kids, it's so fake, why do you watch it? One, it's not fake. You get hurt. Two, when you're a wrestler, you learn the moves. So, you know, I'm not explaining it. Y'all are not the people that are at my school, okay? We all know that we all have our own beliefs in wrestling, how it's not fake. Or there's people that watch wrestling and still say it's fake, but love it anyways. I don't say it's fake. I have my own belief on it, but I'm not explaining. What I just tell them now, I'm a freshman at my high school now, which I didn't go today because I'm sick. Anyways, I tell them every time I say wrestling's fake, they know that pisses me off because I have a short temper, and I'm not even talking to these guys, and they just want to pick on me for no apparent reason, just because I like wrestling. Because I'm different. Because I don't like football. Because I don't look like every other girl at my school. Which actually they look like whores. I'm sorry, but I have to admit it. I love wrestling because it's a passion. It's what I love. Wrestlers are my heroes. And I just tell them that as fake as it is, as much as they got more fans that they do than NFL, football, whatever you want, whatever you watch, basketball, whatever. Wrestling has more fans, and we're passionate about it. If you're a wrestling fan, and if you stick with it through your life, you love it. You won't give up hope on it. And I love it. I never gave up hope on it. I almost did, but I didn't. When I did a little bit, I got right back into it. I didn't miss a thing. And now I finally went to my first wrestling event this past year. I'm finally getting back collecting shirts like this one. This is my Christian shirt that I got when I went to my first wrestling show. I got a CM Punk shirt. I collect DVDs, and I watch them on a daily basis. I watch them more than I watch TV shows that play, because TV shows nowadays suck. I love wrestling. I love WWE. I love it for what it is, and I want to be a wrestler. And one day, when I'm a wrestler, if I ever get that far, I'll just prove everybody at my school that they're wrong, that it's not fake, that it's something that we love, and whatever. I'm just going to stop. I'm really getting fired up about this. So, yeah, that's how I got into wrestling and whatever, and how it's really affected me, how I want to become a wrestler. So anyways, closing this video, links down below, and sorry if this is a crappy video for it to be my first video, and subscribe to it. You might see more videos later on, and I'll catch y'all people later. See ya.